Hi everybody and welcome back to the SunDevilSource postgame show. I'm Ethan Tuttle, joined alongside Chris Cartman. We're here at Sun Devil Stadium following Arizona State's 31-7 loss to number 25 Oregon State. Chris, what are your initial takeaways from this game?
There's a cumulative effect, I think, of this season that resulted in a really bad performance by ASU. We've seen the team battle back, even in the face of some difficult odds, like 28-0 at Washington State last week. And so you thought maybe for senior day they would come out and be able to put together something that was a decent showing at worst, maybe even get a surprise win. There was nothing really remotely salvageable about this performance outside of maybe Xavier Valladay being reliably good as he has been. The Sun Devils were bad on defense, they were bad on offense, they were bad on special teams. I think they've been poorly coached this season. I've made that pretty clear in a lot of the things I've written, and this was sort of the final manifestation at home of all of that.
Yeah, you talk about the first half, Arizona State really struggling out of the gate. They gave up 10 explosive plays of 15 yards or more in the first half. They only had 5 of their own. So what kind of went into Arizona State's difficulties against Oregon State just in the first half out of the gate?
Look, I think they have been too conservative throughout this season on that side of the football. The coverages, they're playing relaxed coverage on 2nd and 15. They get hit for a completion underneath of that on the perimeter for 16 yards. They haven't been very physical at the point of attack. We've seen that clearly. And they were getting gashed in the run game. Really, they were dominated at the point of attack. I think there's no other way to say it. And they haven't been able to muster enough physicality and discipline with their assignments. This is a team that's been really great running the football throughout the season, but in this game, they were able to do it any kind of way that they wanted.
Yeah, and the offensive just struggles continued in the second half, not really able to mount any sort of comeback, which they've been able to do in the past. You kind of alluded to that a bit earlier. So what were you seeing in the second half from the Sun Devils, just maybe from a fight standpoint against the Beavers here today?
Well, in the times that they needed to kind of drop back and get some completions, their breakdowns with their pass protection were very glaring. Trenton Bourguet, he can only do so much, obviously, right? If he's got guys in his face almost immediately after the snap, and players haven't even run to their depths on their routes, you're not going to be able to be successful. So really it was the ability to limit any sort of big plays by ASU. There was nothing over the top of this defense. Oregon State's really good in coverage. They even had 2 of their better defensive players out in this game and didn't really seem to matter whatsoever. ASU was only able to complete short to intermediate passes. They had Valladay kind of going, but nothing that got them into any sort of an offensive rhythm. And then even when they did kind of move the football well, they missed a field goal early. They had some other miscues. They had penalties that moved them back into some key situations. And that's sort of the story of the season to this point.
Yeah, and Chris, the Sun Devils 3-8 on the season now, their worst record since 1994. Interim head coach Sean Aguano spoke after the game, just talking about the U of A series coming up. Kyle Soley as well, kind of talking about that a little bit. So what's important here for the Sun Devils down the stretch heading into this Territorial Cup matchup?
This is the only thing that ASU fans are going to be able to cling to as something that could salvage the season in any way, shape, or form, right? Yeah. Even if ASU wins 4-8, that's a devastatingly bad season. But they have this streak against the Wildcats that all the players on this Sun Devil team, including Kyle Soley and other 6-year seniors, Tamarcus Davis, those guys haven't lost to the Wildcats, right? And neither one of these teams is headed for a bowl game. So this is their bowl game. They have 1 day fewer to get ready for it. You got to be able to turn the page, bring a lot more physicality than they have shown in some of these recent outings, and come away with the win. Because if that doesn't happen, this is going to be looked at as absolutely, without question, the most disappointing season in a lot of fans' lifetimes.
Absolutely. SunDevilSource will be in Tucson next week for the Territorial Cup, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for the content coming out of the southern part of the state. For now, though, he's Chris Cartman. I'm Ethan Tuttle. That's going to do it for the SunDevilSource postgame show.